welcome along to this sort of impromptu unboxing. Now, my name is Guy Pigden. This is the Savage Filmmaking YouTube channel, and I'm an independent filmmaker. I make movies, I make web series, I make skits, all that sort of thing. And I'm one of the first people, at least in New Zealand, to get my hands on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K Pro. So this has just come out. They announced it, I don't know, about a week ago. And then they said it was sort of going to be available immediately. I decided to pre-order it, expecting that I was probably going to be in for a long wait. Now I've got it here, and I want to do maybe a series of videos on the Pocket 6K, put it through its paces, and just show you guys what you can expect. In this video, all I'm going to be doing is just a simple unboxing, show you what's in the box, you guys can see for yourself, because, you know, maybe you haven't had the opportunity to get it yet. This is the box. So on the back, we've got some, you know, things showing all the fancy features and all that. And then on the front, we've got a similar sort of thing here. The 6K in all its glory, and I'll just sort of hold it up here. So you can see, fresh out of the bag. I haven't looked at this or anything like that. So, what have we got here? So we've got welcome to Blackmagic Design, instruction menu that you can download. So it's like a pamphlet and you can scan it. Sticker, cool. You've got Davinci Resolve 17. So Davinci Resolve 17. This is kind of like if Apple gave away Final Cut with all their laptops or all their computers. You know, this alone is worth, you know, over here $400 New Zealand, and it's just an amazing editor, grading, whatever you want. If we look here, we've got the plug, run it off for AC power, and then here you've got a selection of plugs. So, you know, if you're in the UK, you've got this one, and for me, I'll look for the New Zealand plug, which is this one. So that will just clip on to my pocket. Clip on here. Boom. So that's my AC adapter. We've got the new pockets. If you can see here, so the new pockets, they've switched batteries. And now we've got these MPF, I think 570s. So these are the MPF 570s. And they're sort of saying, well, you know, now you get more power with them. But they have come up with some other solutions, which I'll talk about in a second. So it's still a step in the right direction, I think. I've got a bunch of these and I bought a couple extra. So I'll get to that in a second. And then we've got this cool, I guess, Blackmagic design wrist strap. I don't remember getting that. I don't remember getting that with my Pocket 4K. You know, from an indie filmmaker's point of view, if you want to pretend that it's a camera and you're just taking some photos when you're really shooting in somewhere where you shouldn't, that might be kind of handy. I'm probably not going to be using it, but that's cool. And here we go. And so here it is. Here is the Pocket 6K Pro body. So yeah, if we can just have a little look here. So I guess what I'm noticing about this is this sensor section is really chunky by comparison, obviously, to my old 4K, but it's probably not that much different to what the 6K was. You can see here there's this extra bit on top, which is where you put the EVF monitor there. So that's what that is for. Otherwise, it just kind of extends the body out. I have no use for it. I'm just going to be using the 1/4 screw. It is chunky, and it is heavy. I think it's slightly narrower than the original 6K and 4K, you know, just looking at it. And I will say that the grip is better as well. Like it's a much better grip. Like they've changed the, they've got this rubber over this which did not exist, at least on my Pocket 4K. So the grip is much better if you're thinking of just hand holding it and looking around here. And then of course, if we look at the back here, we've got the tilt screen. So I'm just gonna see if I can tilt it. Cool. So if we could look here, I've just got on the side. So this is the tilt screen here. And I'm just got a little piece of protective thing at the back. So this is the tilt screen. So essentially, what Blackmagic has done is they've sort of stolen Tilter's idea of the Tilter modification to add this functionality to, the pocket cameras. And so you can sort of, if we look at it here, you can sort of tilt it right down and like sort of look at it straight downwards. Or you can just have it at a sort of slight angle. So I'll show it to the main camera here. You can tilt it right down like this. So we're tilting right down. Or you can have it on a slight angle. Just have it at a slight angle. So, or you can have it obviously just clipped back in. The problem when you have the camera normally is a lot of the times you're not shooting at head height. So you're not looking directly at the screen. You're having to bend down, you have to go tilt over, all this sort of thing to kind of get a proper view of the screen. And now you just have this beautiful tilt screen that you can just look kind of straight down at if you're not holding it sort of straight up in front of you. And this means that you don't necessarily have to get an external monitor, especially because they've changed the brightness of the screen to 1500 nits. Obviously, if we look here on the sides, we've got our HDMI, we've got USB-C, and now we've got, if we can see here, one extra XLR or mini XLR cable there. So they've changed around where they put all these things. We've still got these annoying rubber things on the side, which I don't know about you, but I'm going to tear off almost straight away, I'm sure. We do have some extra buttons here. ND filter, so to add our NDs, which is the other huge sort of thing about this camera, is the like the 3 stops of ND that you get. And then on the side, which is the same, as we've got one slot for an SD card and one slot for a CFast card. Now, most of us Blackmagic users, we often use an external SSD. So that is me I've just turned it on, and now I'm just messing around with the NDs. So, and on the top two, we've got an ISO, white balance and shutter. We've got a thing to take a little picture as well, and our record button. If I'm having a look, it's the same as it always is, but we do have some more options here, which is really cool. And we'll get into that a bit more, but if we're shooting B-RAW, obviously we've got our 3:1, 5:1, 8:1, and 12:1. And then we've got our regular 6K, we've got 6K 241, we've got 5.7K now, we've got 2.8K, 3.7 anamorphic, and this is the biggie, 4K DCI, which was not an option beforehand. So that is very handy. Although it is cropping in on the sensor, so it would have been nicer if it wasn't, but it's still better than not having that option. And then if we switch to ProRes, we've got nice, so 4K DCI in ProRes, which is cool, and we've got Ultra HD and HD. But I will say that the screen, just like looking at the screen here, it is definitely much brighter and crisper. So it's much better than the old one, which is really great. And I can adjust my screen brightness here, which is very handy. So it's on 50% currently. If I crank it up, it gets really bright. So that's great. So that's the Pocket 6K unboxing. So this is the final thing that I got here. So this is the battery Pro Grip extension. Now, obviously they've changed batteries, so the old one won't work, and it's a slightly different shape and design. So yes, for you existing 6K or 4K users, you will have to invest if you want this. Now, I never bought this for my Pocket 4K, to be honest. I was not that interested in it because it only gave you, a bit more battery life, and it always seemed to me that you were much better off to use a different solution. But this one is a lot more exciting to me because they're talking about it being 3 hours of battery life and it's hot swappable. So you can swap out batteries as you go and sort of never have to turn the camera off. Okay, so this is the Blackmagic design battery grip. And you can see it's just got these pins here that I'm presuming plug into pins in the bottom. And if I'm looking at the bottom, it looks like I'm going to have to do some unscrewing. I'm going to have to unscrew these pins here to connect this, otherwise it's not going to work. But in terms of this, obviously we're adding like some extra size, etc. But I think that for me, this is going to be a lot nicer a lot of the time than using a V-mount, because when I'm using a V-mount, I'm going to have to get it on rails and I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's just going to probably be a little bit less convenient than having this. So now on the side here, we've got the battery sled. So it looks like we've got a kind of a little turn lock thing here that we have to turn to pull out the battery. And then I've got a couple of spare ones here, which I'm assuming just go here. Right, cool, they're in. And then we just, okay, so pretty snug fit. And then I just turn that little piece on the side and that'll lock it so it can't just slide out, and then clip that back in, and now we've got our batteries loaded. I have got this bottom piece off the Blackmagic, so this, if we can just see, look at the top down view here. So this was sitting here, so it was just sitting here, and I had to unscrew this really annoying fiddly screw. I had to get that open, and then this just comes right off, right? The good thing about that fiddly annoying screw is that it stays in, so as you're sort of using it, it stays connected, so that's good if you want to just put it back on. And now you have this open piece. Now the only thing I don't like about this idea of having this open piece here is that you kind of have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to use this battery pack and then just stick with it or not, because you're not going to want to mess around putting that screw on all the time, and it wouldn't be a good idea to leave this exposed. Now maybe you could kind of gaff tape over the top of that as like a sort of a very quick fix if you wanted to protect the connectors here. So I'm hoping that once it's on, it's kind of on and we're sort of committed and we're all good. So if we can see here, I just match up the pins and the points of contact, and it should just connect on in a seamless manner. And I'm just screwing it in till it's getting pretty tight now. Cool. So now I've got it with the battery pack in. So this is how big it looks like. I'll just this is what it looks like with the battery pack in. So got the same quarter 20s on the bottom for a tripod or whatever. How heavy is it? Well, it feels chunky. It's kind of like almost, it feels a bit like a 1DX Canon camera. That's what it reminds me of with this extra battery pack in. If you're just, thinking about mainly having this as locked off on a tripod, this is perfect. I hope you found this helpful. If you have, like and subscribe. I will be doing more videos about this camera and sort of doing a deep dive and a breakdown about all its features. So if you're interested in buying one of these, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.